when you get a brand new cell phone, it's really cool, right? It's got the coolest camera. It can do this. It can do that. All these really neat things. And then all of a sudden, a year later, you're like, wait, your camera can do what? Or your phone can do what? And it's like, and the value has plummeted, and it's way different. And cars are a lot like that now. I know it's a big difference in price, but so people now are realizing that, and we're seeing a lot more leasing because of this now. People are like, well, yeah, if I don't want to have all this depreciation, if I want to have the latest and the greatest. And so, yeah, the length of ownership is really shortened down, and it's caused us to, go into that. Let's talk about supply issues. So here's what we've seen change.
Yes.
Yeah. I really started to notice something about a year and a half ago, I'd say, and it was with the housing market here. I started noticing that people were saying, the housing market's on fire, but it's almost broken. Like it's, there's a shortage of inventory and pricing's going through the roof, this and that. And I thought, wow, it really is. Maybe it's time to do refinance or whatever. Well, then I didn't think it would affect us at all. But then we started having the factories started saying, hey guys, we're going to cut production or we're going to slow production down. And this is after COVID. We already had the whole shutdown with COVID, this, that, everyone did that. No, this was different. We've got labor trouble where all these, and it wasn't just Audi. It was, Toyota, GM, Ford, Subaru, Honda, Nissan, all these different factories and brands were struggling with these problems. They had parts shortages, delays at port. And that's another whole issue because if you like us with Audi, we get our cars across the pond. Well, they have to clear customs and they have all these weird EPA things they got to go through. So there was massive delays with that. But the factory started saying that everyone knows about this. If they don't know, there was a massive, massive semiconductor shortage. And one of it was attributed to the fire. The Reese factory just burned down to the ground. But there's more than that, though.
Which fire? Like a specific fire?
Yeah, a fire burned a factory down completely.
That made semiconductors that happened to go into cars.
Yeah, and here's where I think a lot of people don't quite understand why that was important. Okay, so they say, well, why can't this other something? I looked on, I was looking on the New York Stock Exchange. There's like 4 other companies that make chips. Why can't they just make them real quick? Well, they can, but you have to understand that if you're a car chip company and you make chips that go in these cars that control all the airbags, the safety, everything that goes into that car, do you know how many years it takes for it to be tested to make sure that, this chip is going to be good enough to where it's going to be able to go into a car and do everything that we say it does. And it's been tested time and time again. It's bulletproof. This chip will do everything we say. And if you are, let's say you're another chip company, you quickly put your chip in and it does fail, what kind of lawsuits and issues that creates. So that's why it's these companies that are allowed to make chips and don't have them. It's like there's not really another game in town, at least for a while.
It's not like a refrigerator, and if that shuts down, you lose some meat.
Yeah, there's human beings in there.
Yeah, these are cars that our lives are in.
But you're telling me that there's only a couple of these of these manufacturers that make these chips, and
they go into every brand.
I say this tongue in cheek, but it sounds like the auto industry is held together with a tape and string. And don't take offense to that, because I think that most businesses are.
I think we've learned that last year.
Oh my gosh, it's hard to do business.
I've been pulling my hair out of my head. This is crazy, because then they said, well, on top of that, we also have a resin shortage. A resin shortage?
Wait, what?
Which is what they use to make plastic.
Yeah.
So there's a plastic shortage now. Okay. Sorry, that's going to be an issue.
Is that a supply chain issue? Like what?
Was there a resin factory that burned down? Like one of 2 resin factories that?
Even my owner, John, they have a garage company that makes garage doors, and they can't get springs for the garage doors. And I said, John, is it like from China or what's going on there? No, I don't know. No one seems to really quit. No one with our factory, they haven't been very forthcoming with exactly what's going on, other than saying we've had some labor struggles and parts problems. Mm-hmm. But the semiconductors obviously affected everybody. As you saw, Toyota just shut down again this week. So they're probably going to be. I know how that. I feel their pain. I feel bad for them, honestly. But then we have this huge demand. So you have this crazy cumulative effect, this perfect stars aligned storm that's happened, where you've got all these consumers, especially in the Treasure Valley, guys. You've got all these people that are moving from California, moving from Texas, and they like the Treasure Valley. And this is like a little mini tech area, And so you're having all these people in there, and a lot of times there's another interesting statistic that when someone buys a home, they are something like 80% likely to also purchase a car in the next 3 months after buying a home. We see it all the time. Yeah. Wow. So they go hand in hand, oddly. But anyway, so we've got this factory that and they're, again, not being very forthcoming with information. We got a resin shortage. We got a chip shortage. And then they say, oh, you also have a wood shortage. A wood shortage? Well, these aren't boats. How do we have a wood shortage?
We've taught construction. We get this.
Yeah, lumber. What's the inlays that we use? And they do in our Audis at least. They use real wood. It's not the fake side. It's real. But okay. And so now they're making cars, the ones that they can make, with one key fob. So not two. You're going to eventually get the other one. They say we don't know when. One key fob, and they're starting to remove certain options like they're taking the tire pressure monitor system off cars. They're taking the phone box, which is like when you put your they got some cool technology in these cars now, but like you can just when you like put your phone on like on a charger, you don't have to plug it in, but it charges like
wireless charging.
Yeah. They're having to remove those. They've had to remove now they're taking tow hitches off for some so
we have been pampered by all these technological advances. I remember the first time that I got a backup camera in a car.
Right.
And I thought, I don't need no freaking backup camera. I do this with the mirrors the old school way.
Man.
Now, I'm not. If it doesn't have a backup camera, I'm not buying it. That's dumb.
I'm not driving it.
No.
It's the technology, guys, in these cars is incredible.
Does that car also have a crank to start it? I don't need that either.
You should see some of the stuff we have coming out. Let me give you a little sneak peek of something. Do you know what heads-up display is, guys?
Yes.
Okay. For those that don't know, it's when you're driving down the road and you look in your windshield, there's like a little box that's projected, like a holographic box that's projected in your windshield that can show you your speed.
That's in my car.
Yeah, now you have it. Navigation coordinates and other information. Well, so now Audi has something that's coming out here actually this year, and it's called augmented heads-up display. And what it does is it interacts with the environment. I kid you not. So imagine that the entire windshield, not just that little box, the entire windshield is a heads-up display now. So like it'll show arrows going clear across the windshield now. And if you're going to take let's say you have navigational coordinates that are active, and it says to take a right. Where that street is on your windshield is where the arrow will actually go, saying go here, and interacts with other objects. Like it's like a sci-fi, but that's really coming.
So you're saying that that's coming in like 20 years? We can expect this?
That's coming fourth quarter, and what that means is October, November, December. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So we're gonna have that, and that's gonna be in our Q4. So we're excited about.
There's
that.
two parts of my mind going right now. One part is the 12-year-old kid that saw Back to the Future 2.
Yeah.
And that's always been complaining that we haven't quite got to hover cars yet. And now I see this and I'm like, holy moly, this is great. Yeah. The other part, like I feel kind of like an old person now that, like our grandparents, they must have been really upset whenever horses and buggies were going
for sure
out of the way. Some of this stuff is scary to me.
And the whole electric revolution that's going on right now with cars, and that's a big thing, by the way. And
can we talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Okay, fine. Whatever.
We're all over the map.
Okay.
Can we
That's true.
stick a fork in one